Benjammmin, the Sunday Chef. I'm down here at Fraser Farms, and we're looking for some tomahawk steaks. So the butcher here is going to find one for us, okay? What was your name?
My name's Eric.
Eric. And how long you been a butcher for, Eric?
I'm a seafood clerk.
Seafood clerk. How about your friend here, Donnie? Oh, yeah. Anyway, you really have to have a good relationship with your butcher. You know, I usually come in to Fraser Farms or Stater Brothers, something like that, and I know my butchers pretty well. And if you ask for the right thing, if you don't know what to ask for this. I'd like a single bone ribeye roast. Okay, so a single bone ribeye roast is a single bone ribeye steak, but it's 2 inches thick. The great thing about Fraser Farms is they actually French the bone down for you. Look at that. All right, Eric, that looks good. All right.
We got those bone-in ribeyes too out there that are not as thick.
Well, we want the Cowboy Steak, don't we?
Just over a pound? Yeah.
Well, Eric, thanks a lot for helping me today, and I'll let you know how that tastes, okay? All right, thanks a lot. All right, bye-bye. All right, guys, we're going to go home and make this. G'day, folks. This is Benjammmin, and with another episode of The Sunday Chef. Today, joining me is Jared, my son, and Nathan Bannister. So we're going to be cooking one of my favorite indulgences, ribeye steak. Now, if you're not on a challenge or you just finished your challenge, this would be a great time to celebrate. So the ribeye steak is one of my favorite cuts of meat. It's marbled with beautiful fat, and when it does render down, it's nice and juicy. You don't even really need to use a steak knife if it's cut, if it's cooked properly. One of the things that whenever I go to a restaurant and I'm feeling rich, I'll order the ribeye steak because they're not cheap. We went to a restaurant the other day called Z Cafe. I ordered up the ribeye steak there, and wasn't up to par to the Z Cafe. It was undercooked and under-seasoned, and I was just kind of blown away. Another ribeye steak that I ordered was at the Bellagio at a restaurant called Prime, and it was an aged, 28-day aged piece of beef. It was also $75, but boy, was it unbelievably good. But I'm going to teach you how to cook a ribeye steak that rivals one of those high-end prime steakhouses for about $15. You'll see that the ribeye steak that I got here at Stater Brothers was a little pricey today. It was like $7.99 a pound. I saw it the other day at $4.99 a pound. It was unbelievable, and they even cut it to the Cowboy Steak thickness, which is about 2 inches thick. When you go in to order the steak, you need to order it asking for a single bone ribeye roast or a Cowboy steak or a tomahawk steak. The tomahawk steak is just got a longer bone on it, so it looks like a tomahawk. Cowboy steaks, though in some places they do French the bone down. I like mine Frenched a little more, and in some places they don't. But I'm going to teach you what to do with that stuff when you French it off, and make an unbelievable snack that you share with your fellow chefs. They always come in running and were more than willing to help me whenever I'm cooking the ribeye steak, because they know they're going to get a little snack with it. You like that, don't you?
Oh, nice.
That's good, isn't it? Okay. So we're going to make our rub. So right now, why don't you guys come in a little closer? I'm going to stop the camera, have Steven move the camera in. Steven, my son, is my cameraman today. He's going to bring the camera in, and we're going to look and watch this, okay? So I'm going to give you the recipe to my famous Cowboy rub. Though there's variations to this rub, I usually use the same base. And so I'm using equal parts salt, and I'm using a Himalayan pink salt, rock salt, unbelievably tasty stuff. I'm using a peppercorn. I'm also using a French roast coffee, and that's in the bean format. And then I'm also using coriander. And if you didn't know this, coriander is in the cilantro family. So cilantro is the leaf, coriander is the seed. Okay? So I'm gonna use my Blendtec. I love my Blendtec, it's fantastic. I can grind it down, but I'm not going to make it into a fine powder. I'm gonna actually pulse this. Can you see that okay? Does it look okay, Stephen?
Yeah.
All right, so we're adding equal parts of it. All right, then I put it right here on the Blendtec. Can you go ahead and see that? Mm-hmm. All right, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put the lid on. Don't wanna, yeah, thank you, Jared. I almost hit the button and just, all right, so here we go. I'm gonna pulse it until I get it to the right consistency. Pretty good, okay? So I'll pour this out so you guys can see it. Whoa, it's got a strong aroma, doesn't it?
Right when you took that cap off.
Yeah, wow. Okay, so take a look at that. It's got some fineness to it, but it's also got, like some of the peppercorns are just half cracked, and that's really what you want. You want it to, not to be so finely ground that it's just like, chalk or something like that on your meat. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and French the bone down. I'll put it into fast motion so you don't have to watch this. We're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna have Nathan and Steven Jared jump in here, and each one of them is gonna French one of these down for us, and I'm just gonna coach them. Now, one of the things I'm gonna advise you. What we're trying to do is we're trying to keep this round here. You want the round piece, so we're gonna cut this off here, and we're gonna cut it around the bone. We don't want to cut it like here, and we don't want to leave it too much. Like they actually cut it and left a little too much here. So we're gonna take this piece off, and we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna reserve that and use it as a what we call Scooby snacks here. Okay? So you definitely want a Scooby snack. All right. So here we go. Okay, so we've got the meat French down to where we want it on each one. And we've got the Scooby snacks cut up. We've got our dry rub. We also have our olive oil. Well, the question is well, that's an awfully fatty piece of meat, Benjamin. Why do we need olive oil? Well, you want your rub to stick to the actual meat. And we're literally gonna be having the olive oil, and we're gonna have a dry hand that we rub it. You can also put this into a dispenser and dispense it on. If we wanna do that, we can, but we can just use our hands today. But just make sure that you keep a wet hand and a dry hand. Do not be reaching over with your wet hand into the dry mix and get it all over the place, okay? So we're gonna put this into fast motion. I'm gonna let Jared come in and rub his, and I'm gonna coach Nathan through doing yours, okay? So that way we're not all trying to fight for the same spot. Okay, guys? You ready for this?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Okay, so the meat now has the rub on it. It's stuck to it. You can see that it's nice and kind of covered. I would say that's the word for it, covered. It's every surface area of it is covered with some of the rub. Okay, we've also got the Scooby snacks ready. Now, is it ready to go in the pan is the question. The answer to the question is, if you've just taken it out of the fridge, it's no. If you've had it sitting out on the counter for a little bit, maybe. Why? There's a pop quiz for you guys. Why do we want what is the reason that we want to wait to put it in the pan? Which one? Who wants to answer it?
You want it room temperature so you can cook it evenly?
Okay, so he says room temperature. Is that what you say?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that's right. If you cook a steak right out of the fridge and you drop it right on the pan, well, yeah, you're gonna get well done on the outside, and it's gonna be raw on in the inside. In fact, that's exactly what happened to the steak I had last night. It was seared on the outside, but it was actually literally raw on the inside, and I could barely even cut it with the knife that they gave me. So The reason, again, is to let it come to room temperature. So we've had these steaks out for about an hour. Now, my recommendation is that you rub the steak right out of the fridge and you let it set. And you put a paper towel over it or something, but you let it come to room temperature. These are at room temperature. They've been out, and you can see how pliable and it is. It's not cold. It's ready to go in the pan. So Jared's got the pan heating up. It looks like it's at smoke point, so that's good. We're gonna go ahead and put it down to medium and turn the hood on. So we're gonna drop these in the pan. We're gonna bring the video over so that you can see this. We're gonna drop this twice, so you'll see this twice. And then we'll drop the Scooby Snacks later on. Okay, so why don't we cut the video here, come on over, I'll talk and tell you how to put it on the pan and what to do, and then we'll put it in a fast motion. I've also got my oven at 425. That's a very important thing, because we're not gonna cook it on the stovetop the entire time. We're gonna put it in the oven to finish it. That's what a lot of people don't understand is, oh, I'm gonna cook it on the grill or something like that. Steaks are best cooked on, and we use cast iron. We love the cast iron pans because it's a dense metal and it retains the heat and everything like that. And if you try it with a cast iron, I've tried it with stainless steel. It works okay. Do not use, I highly recommend that you do not use like non-stick pans. They are not good enough. Cast iron is definitely the way to go when you're cooking a steak. And a well-seasoned cast iron pan too. So let's go ahead and pause the video. We'll move over next to this stove and we'll drop this. All right, well, I turned the hood off so you can hear me, but it might smoke up in here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it down on its fat cap first. Now, this is on, I turn it back to high. I can tell that the cast iron is sitting somewhere around 325 degrees because it's at smoke point. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna render that fat cap off. So what you'll see me do is I will turn the meat several different ways. I'll take it from the fat cap to the top, to one side, to the other, before I come back on the video. This takes a few minutes, so we don't want you to sit around and get bored, so we're gonna go ahead and pop it into fast motion.
It's gray, only the dark colors remain in my memory.
Okay, so you see we've got a nice crust on the meat now, and it's ready to go in the oven. Is it done? No, it's not done. It's not even close to being done. The internal temperature on it's probably sitting somewhere around 75 degrees. So we needed to bring it up to 104 degrees temperature. We're gonna do that in the oven. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my mitt, I'm gonna move it to the oven, okay guys? And let's go ahead and just grab the camera and just back up for a second, okay? Just grab the whole thing while it's still moving. And so one of you guys open the oven for me, okay? And if you got people around you, you say, hot, hot, watch out. Okay, so I'm gonna put this one up on the top. It's not all the way at the top. I don't know if you can see that or not. Let's grab the camera and take you down there, okay? And so you can actually see inside the oven. I know, my finger's in the way. All right, there it is. It's looking good in the oven, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and push that in the rest of the way, close this up, and we're gonna start with the next one.
It's gray, only the dark colors remain in my memory. I really want to say I'd be glad to work towards another day. The past is mine, it defines.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and move that top one down. It's looking really good. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and move this guy. I turned the hood off over there, so hopefully it's not gonna look like we've started a fire in here. Jared's also gonna go ahead and flip this one. So it's looking really good. We want it to crust evenly on the other side. And you see when it's touching the pan, it's a really nice, beautiful crust on it, okay? So let's go ahead and put that in. And let's get our thermometer over here, and we'll start watching these things with thermometer. Man, I can't wait for that steak to come out. Aren't you guys hungry today?
I'm sorry.
Oh man, Toby's hungry.
Oh my gosh. Hey, let's cook the Scooby Snacks and eat them.
You got it, boss. Oh.
Oh, wow, you drop them and I'll flip them, okay?
Scooby.
Oh, wow.
How does that look, boss?
It looks awesome. All right, well, this is going to be a sampling of the goodness that we're going to be serving our guests. But Scooby Snacks are an awesome. They almost have the fat content of Kobe beef, you know, marbled within them and everything like that. So that's why we don't throw them away or give them to the dog, but we actually make them up and we don't share them with our customers or other people. We kind of like save them for ourselves because they're that good. All right, so we're gonna put this into fast motion. I'm gonna cook these up and we're gonna check on the meat. All right, guys, look at that. Scooby Snacks. Go ahead and dig in, okay? It might be a little hot, so just be careful.
Finger looking good.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
You can't wait for that steak to come out, can you?
Wow.
Those are good, aren't they? Oh, let's take a close-up.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, it literally melts in your
Scooby
mouth.
Snacks. Oh, yeah. All right, let's get back to the real meat, okay? Okay, well, it's been about 10 minutes, and we got to check on these, okay? So I've got my digital thermometer. I got a Shrilatab, and our goal is to have the internal temperature to 104 degrees and not really that much far over it before we pull it and let it start its slower cooking process, okay? Oh, wow, look at that. Smoke clear. You let that heat clear. Look at that. That one's looking good, isn't it? Okay, turn my thermometer on. Okay. Well, we were already really high. I'm going to go ahead and pull that one because it's already way above that temperature. Okay? So that one might be well done for us. All right, I'm going to set that there. I'm going to check the second one. All right. So we're sitting right at 102. You can kind of see it there on the top. It's almost done. All right, I'm gonna flip it, put it in for another minute, and we're gonna go ahead and pull it, okay? All right. Now, let's go look at the one that we pulled, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and take my pan, this guy, and come and cover it, okay? So what this is going to do is it's going to hold in the heat. Now remember, the cast iron pan is hot already, so it's still cooking. But we want to stop the cooking process down. Our goal is medium rare on this, and we probably should have pulled it about 3 minutes ago, but we didn't. But it's okay. Even if it's well done, it's going to be a beautiful piece of meat. So let's go ahead and move this over, and we'll pull the other one in a minute, okay? All right, well, I've pulled the second ribeye here, and we're gonna let it rest. Now, how long do you let your meat rest, and what is the purpose of letting it rest? Well, I can give you the scientific version of it. Well, it's PV equals nRT, so pressure and temperature are directly related to each other on a linear equation. So the lower we bring the temperature, the lower the pressure inside, and when we cut it, the meat's not gonna ooze out all its goodness. Otherwise, in plain English, if you cut it too early, you'll have a dry piece of meat. And we don't want a dry piece of meat. We want something that's really moist and juicy. So what we need to do is we're gonna let it rest, and I think the magic number is 15 minutes. Some people think that they're just impatient and they're like, oh, it's rested for 5 minutes, let's go ahead and cut it. But no, you don't want to do that. In fact, the longer you let it rest, the cooler it gets, the more flavor, in my opinion, it retains. Okay, so, and what we're looking for is we're looking for that crust on the outside, and we're looking for a medium rare piece of meat on the inside. So we're gonna let this rest now. We're gonna finish up our Scooby. Oh my gosh, you guys ate the Scooby Snacks already. All right, well, I'm gonna I had a few, and so they were absolutely delicious. So we're gonna let the meat rest, and we're gonna go ahead and get our cutting board ready to cut. You wanna kind of get the table ready to go, everything set so that the meat is the last thing you do. You say the blessing on the food, and then you cut the meat. Do not cut the meat before the blessing, I'll tell you that much. And people will come over and get their piece of meat that they want. And look at that beautiful au jus sauce. Why don't you come on in closer? And you can see the beautiful au jus sauce forming in the pan. And that's just absolutely delicious to spoon over the top. It's got some fat rendering. It's got the salt, the pepper, and the coffee and the coriander mixed with it. But we're gonna enjoy that. I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna move this over here. This one's been resting for a few minutes. You can see it's definitely done, okay? But it's just got a few more minutes to rest. All right, we'll see you on the cutting. Wow, timer's done. All right, been 15 minutes. All right, well, we're gonna go ahead and cut the meat, okay? So usually what I do is I like to slice this off into thin pieces and then put it back into the au jus sauce for people to take. So this one, I can tell you right now, it's probably gonna be a little bit more well done. Let's see, yeah, you can see it already. It is a more well done piece of meat. Gotta watch that a little closer. We were too involved in the Scooby snacks, but it's still gonna be good. As we get closer and closer to the bone, you're gonna find that it's more and more rare. The outer portions are gonna be more well done, and the inner portions are gonna be rare, okay? So now I don't really think that one person's gonna eat a 2-pound steak. That would be like 32-ounce steak, but you know, you never know. So there's the first one. You can see you've got very well done meat here, and then you've got gradually moving into the medium rare in here. And then you've also got the bone, which is one of my favorite things, is the bone. I don't usually like to share the bone. Now I'm gonna go ahead and pick this up and just transfer it back into the pan, okay? And then I usually serve it in the pan just like that. All right? I'm gonna go ahead and pull this one. This one's also been resting for about the same amount. Well, the first one went really fast. Luckily we have a second one, right guys?
Yes.
So what did you guys think of the first one?
Oh man, that was giggity goo.
You know what, boss? That's the best piece of steak I've had in my life.
Well, that's good, Nathan. How old are you?
I'm only 15.
Well, hopefully it'll ruin you for the rest of your life.
I'm never gonna have a better piece of steak than that.
Well, let's hope not, okay? You're gonna make this for yourself and your family. Well, that's what we want you to do. We want you to make this at home. So this is the actual lower cost steak that I got at Stater Brothers. This one was the $16 steak. The one we devoured first was the $32 steak. So we're gonna go ahead and cut this one up. It's at 15 minutes. So we're gonna go, this one I'm hoping is gonna be a little bit more rare. Yeah, it's definitely more rare. So we should be good with this one. Again, I use the same process. Now you can cut this thinner. You can use it in your salad, make a steak salad or something like that. You can put it on your sandwiches. This is actually prime rib. I don't know if you really understand that, but this is the best, in my opinion, one of the best pieces of meat that you can get out of a cow. Even better than filet mignon. You see it's marbled with fat there. Well, this bone's got a lot more meat to it. So I'm gonna go ahead and spread this out so you guys can kind of see that. Now, one of the favorite ways we like to do it is we like to take the steak. You see how it's just literally fall off the bone, and not even fall off the bone. It's just you don't even need a knife to cut this. And then we'll dip it in the au jus sauce like that. Man, that is one delicious piece of meat. Well, this is Benjammmin, the Sunday Chef, hoping you find a little Sunday Chef in you. And I hope you try this at home and let me know how it goes. If you do want to buy my steak rub and you don't want to make it yourself, go ahead and reach out to me, and I'll tell you how you can go ahead and get that. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'm also on Instagram, and some people follow me on Facebook. So there's lots of ways that you can follow me, and if there's any other kind of food dishes that you want me to make for you or show you, give me some suggestions in the comments below. Okay, guys? Well, signing out.
How am I to stand my ground when it shifts beneath